phase. Exercises to build a four-player defense. An exercise to maintain the horizontal distances between the four defenders. In this exercise, the defense players are coached to take the correct positions as the ball moves horizontally across the field. The defenders, in yellow, are arranged at the edge of their penalty area, or just a little farther upfield. They move from left to right and vice versa, following the movement of the ball, which is controlled by the four players in white who act as coaches. When they move, the defenders must keep the horizontal distances between them constant. During the exercise, the coach should assess the correct position of the players within the defense and the speed of movement of the individual players and of the whole defense from right to left and vice versa. An exercise to coach cover within the defense. The second exercise is carried out by 8 players who are arranged as in the previous exercise. This time the objective is to coach the 4 defenders to cover each other. The 4 coaches pass the ball to each other in their attacking third of the field. The defenders once again must move according to the position of the ball, but at the same time they must also move forward, pressure the player with the ball, thus drawing with their movements diagonals and triangles in the field. The diagonal movement is made by the central defender nearest to the side defender who is pressuring the opponent with the ball. By moving to a diagonal position in relation to his teammate, central defender can effectively tackle the opponent if the latter manages to dribble the ball past the player directly marking him, the side defender in this case. The shape of a triangle is drawn in the field when the central defender moves forward from the defense's horizontal line in order to pressure the opponent with the ball. His nearest teammates, the side defender and the other central defender, move slightly inward to cover their teammate and tackle the opponent with the ball if the latter is successful in getting past the central defender. During the exercise, the coach should assess the correct positioning of the players within the defense, the speed at which the individual player moves forward to pressure the opponent with the ball and then returns to his starting position, and how the individual player attacks the ball. The defender should sprint forward quickly from the defensive line and then slow down when he gets close to the opponent, thus placing himself in an ideal position for a possible tackle. An exercise to coach the shifting movement within the defense. In this exercise, the ball is circulated by the players in white, who act as attackers. When the coach gives the signal, the attacker with the ball must try to dribble the ball past the defender who has come forward to pressure him. The ensuing tactical situation will require the defenders to engage in outward or inward shifting movements. The coach should assess the correct position of the players within the defense, the speed at which the individual players move forward to pressure the opponent with the ball, then return to their starting positions, how the individual players attack the ball, and the direction and the speed with which the defender, if beaten by the attacker, recovers to a useful position. 4 defenders against 6 attackers. The defense against the opposing midfield and attack. This exercise requires the defense to put into practice all that has been learned in the previous exercises. The 4 defenders and the goalkeeper must pressure the 6 opposing attackers and prevent them from scoring. The attackers can arrange themselves in various patterns: 4-2, 3-1-2, 3-2-1. And they try to score a goal by using any creative combination, such as deep cuts, wall passes, overlapping, etc. Defenders must learn to face various tactical situations by moving in a coordinated way, both horizontally and vertically on the field, covering each other and shifting. During this exercise, the coach should check that the tactical choices made by the individual players are appropriate. He should also assess the compactness of the defense, the synchronization of the movements, and the speed of movement. Here, the defenders pressure an overlapping player. When their goalkeeper has the ball and is about to return it with a long pass, the defenders quickly move forward, all at the same time, taking advantage of the time in which the ball is in the air. Here we see the defenders winning the ball after a wall pass by the attackers. Here we see a successful wall pass by the attackers. Exercises for a 3-player defense. Once the team is confident with the mechanisms of zone play, those principles can be transferred to a 3-player defense. The 3-player defense, in using one less player, has obvious limitations in covering the field horizontally in an optimum way. Therefore, sometimes it is necessary to integrate the team's defense with the midfielder who is on the weak side, the opposite side of the field to where the ball is. The following exercise helps the 3-player defense to put into practice the mechanisms of zone play. The defense against 5 opponents in a limited area of play. In this exercise, 3 defenders and the goalkeeper face a team of 5 attackers. The defenders must prevent the attackers from scoring by carrying out the movements learned in the previous exercises and moving forward every time the ball is in the air towards the midfield. The entire defense must follow the movement of the ball. Because the ball cannot be played by the opponents when it is in the air, it is fundamental for the team to take advantage of those moments to move forward. By getting closer to the midfield line, the defense takes space away from the opponents. When the opposing midfielders take possession of the ball, it is vital that the defenders stop and move back a few yards. An even more complex exercise is necessary to coach the important tactical work that the side midfielder must carry out on the weak side of the field to integrate him with his team's defense. Exercise for the side midfielder to integrate with the defense. It often happens in a match that one of the 3 defenders is required to man-mark his direct opponent. Therefore, it is also important to coach the defense and the midfield together so that they can learn to function together as one body. This is why this exercise is carried out by the midfield along with the 3 defenders. Here, the 7 players block the movements of the opposing midfielders and of a single opposing forward. When the ball is passed to the single opposing forward, number 9 in yellow, the side midfielder should not move back toward the defense line, as he would then increase the already existing superiority in numbers, and thereby give too much space to the attacking team's side player. Instead, when the single opposing forward receives the ball, it is the central midfielder nearest to the play who should quickly move to double team him, while the two side defenders should move to cover in a triangle-shaped arrangement. The tactical situation in which the side midfielder should integrate with the defense as a fourth defender occurs when the attacking team's side player on the opposite side of the field has freed himself and is moving forward with the ball, with the closest defender having to come out of the defense line to close him down. In order to balance the movement of the side defender, the side midfielder moves back into the defense and acts as a fourth defender. Here, the 7 players in the defense phase counter an attacking team with 2 forwards. In this situation, whenever either of the attacking team's side midfielders has the ball, the side midfielder on the weak side of the defense must be ready to move back and become the fourth defender, and then to move forward to integrate with the midfield again when the opponent's attack is not successful and the opposing midfielders decide to restart the attack from the other side of the field. Now let's take a look at the movements that the side midfielder should make when the ball is received by either of the attacking team's forwards. In this case, both side midfielders should take an active position beyond the line of the ball, covering the important spaces along the wings. The central midfielder who is closest to the ball should join in to double team the opponent with the ball. The last example shows the partial movements that the group of 7 players must carry out when facing 3 opposing forwards. In order to face an attack by 3 forwards in an optimum way, it is necessary to know, in detail, the arrangement and the movements of the opposing midfielders, or to place an extra player in the defense in order to have superiority in numbers. As a general rule, when the ball is on the wings, the side midfielder who is on the weak side should always integrate with his defense in order to have superiority in numbers. When the ball is passed to one of the opposing forwards, both side midfielders should take a position along the defensive line.